Honestly, it is up to us to determine who actually has our best interests at heart. What we intend to do is to look out for our community with real issues and real thoughts. We want to be able to cover things that matter to our community. We want to be able to bring you this information without censure or without any form of restriction. We want to be the voice of our community and lead the charge for information that is disseminated throughout our masses.
The all-new MyLifeNewsNetwork.com with programming and news relevant to you. About us, for us, by us. MyLifeNewsNetwork.com.
Identify the problem.
I'm straight. Be the solution.
The solution I am.
MyLifeInTrustFoundation.org.
Hello and welcome to Real Issues, Real Thoughts. My name is Garland Camper, your host. Today we're going to sit down and have a conversation with Judge Rita Bailey. Judge Bailey is the Pulaski County District Court Judge. She's actually running for election, and we're going to have a conversation with her about what it is that she does as a district judge, and what inspired her to become a district judge. And we just want to hear from her and see what we can do throughout the community to help her in her campaign. Welcome, Judge.
Thank you.
It is good to have you. You and I go a long ways back.
You said a long way
yes,
back.
We do. Let me ask you some questions. First of all, congratulations on your first term as judge. Again, we want you to know that we do support you, and that was one of the reasons why I asked you if you come on the show, so that we'd be able to extend a helping hand in your campaign. One of the things that I like for you to do is to help our audience understand just actually what the Pulaski County District Court Judge does.
All right. First of all, Mr. Camper, I'll tell you that this is actually my second term. I'm starting on the last year. It's 2 4-year terms. So
Okay.
I'm completing the second.
Well, thank you for
term.
correcting me and correcting our audience, because that's good to know.
Right.
So with that being said, you are very experienced in what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm starting my 8th year
All right.
and being a district court judge.
Okay. Now, one of the things, I tell you what, let's just go ahead and go into what the district judge does.
All right. As a district court judge, what I normally do, we have several different divisions. Well, you'll have environmental court.
Okay.
You'll have like civil court. And there's a criminal and traffic division.
Okay.
Most times, my docket now, I have to divide my time up between those different areas. What people know a lot about district court judges is that we do traffic
Right.
and criminal.
Well,
That's what people mostly remember.
Okay.
And
That makes all the news and highlights.
that's what makes the news. That's what gets the hype. So what you do, what I do as a district court judge is everyone that gets arrested on felony or misdemeanor charges has to go before a judge, and we have to give them what is a reasonable bond.
Okay.
So everyone who gets arrested, usually by a city policeman or state trooper, whatever, as long as they're not in federal court,
Okay.
they will go before a district court judge first.
Okay.
And what they call that's their first appearance, and it's really, for us to set bond. And they'll initially say whether they're pleading guilty or not guilty. Felony charges, they won't be pleading guilty in district court.
Okay. In doing that, tell me a little bit about how you came about becoming a judge. I know that you have practiced law for over 25 years.
Right.
Practiced law here in the state of Arkansas, and I'm sure other places. Right. But tell me a little bit about your journey into.
Okay. Yes, you're correct that I have practiced law now for 25 years. I have been in a solo practice.
Okay.
I
That means you, for
Just
those
me.
that don't know,
Yes.
that's the Bailey
That's it.
law firm.
That's it.
Okay.
In that practice, I did a lot of criminal defense, and that would be all over the state of Arkansas.
Okay.
Criminal defense, I do domestic litigation as well,
Okay.
civil litigation,
Okay.
and I veered away from. I don't do a lot of employment or anything. I usually refer that type of stuff out.
Okay.
But I've been doing that area for quite some time. It's been an interesting journey.
Okay.
But as to how I got here,
Yes.
you want me to?
Yes.
Right. That's what a lot of people ask.
Yeah.
How did you get here? Well, my family, my mother, my sister, and I, we moved to Little Rock it's easier for me to say when I was like going to the 7th grade. I was getting ready to go to junior high.
Okay, so you are a transplant.
Oh,
to
I've been
Little Rock.
yes, but I've been in Little Rock ever since then. The summer before my 7th grade year. The reason I remember that is we moved into Southwest Little Rock to a place that was called. It was 7305 Preston Drive. I remember it like the back of my hand.
Okay, yeah, you remember your address.
Yeah, 7305 Preston Drive, and it was an apartment complex.
Okay.
And we were so excited for moving there because it was a place that had a pool, and we were,
Okay.
Of course, I lost all my hair that summer because I didn't properly, take care of it.
Yes.
But I met later. That place ended up being called a place called Sin City.
Very familiar with it. Very familiar
Okay.
with it.
Well, that's where I
Okay.
grew up.
Okay, so
And-
you kind of know about Hard Knocks.
Exactly.
Okay.
But we didn't, and my mother didn't know. She was a single parent.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of evolved into that while we were there. In that setting, I met people from all walks of life.
Yes.
Particularly, there was a young man that got in trouble for robbing banks and stuff that I went to school with. And when I ended up in high school, I grew up with him, but I was in high school, he was out of school.
Okay.
But he got in trouble, and he was always a nice guy. He just wouldn't go to school. Eventually, to make a long story short, he and I were friends. All of us were friends.
Right.
We walked to school together. Went to junior high and all that. Well, he got arrested. And I would go to school, but he wouldn't. So he would meet me at the school bus and walk me home on a regular. Okay?
He was more or less trying to protect you.
Yes, he was
and,
very, very protective.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was too young to date. It wasn't a dating relationship. It was just a very good friendship. And I'll never forget, he walked me home. He would always be cordial and make sure I got to school, okay. Well, what ended up happening, he got arrested. And my mother would, how single parents do, they were at work all the time. So he got arrested, and one time the cops had come out, and they were asking questions about, different stuff about Chestnut. And I can just remember, that's his name.
Chestnut, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
they call him Chestnut. I can just remember someone asking me something, and they never called my mother or anything. Just kind of. It was
took it upon themselves.
Yeah,
to
I just remember
start an investigation
being,
and talking to you
as
a child.
Yeah, I just remember being
interrogated.
Yeah, I just remember being. It wasn't. I was afraid, but I didn't know anything because I would be the last person that. But they subpoenaed me to court, and his mother used to have to drive me to, it's a small town, I can't remember the name of it, to go, and I was a kid, and I didn't know anything, but because they subpoenaed me, I had to go, and she took me.
Okay.
So and then he went to prison for 100+ years.
Wow. So he's still there?
No.
He's out?
He got
Parole?
out. He stayed about 20.
Okay.
And he got out, but that whole exposure to that culture and what happens, it
kind of
kind of
gave
sparked
you that drive to become a judge. Well, wow, that's a very interesting story. I'd have never thought that it would have started. I guess your involvement at an early age and seeing
Right.
the judicial system at work kind of sparked
Yeah,
an
I just,
interest with you.
and I was trying, my focus back then, I was in high school, was taking my semester exam. I wasn't messed up about,
Right.
that. And it kind of, I was like, I want to go to school.
Yeah. Well, speaking of school, tell me a little bit about your educational background.
All right. I told you I went to Cloverdale Junior High.
Okay.
Graduated from McClellan High School.
Okay, and
And
that's a shout out to McClellan. Kids at McClellan, you too can go out and do positive things.
Right.
Okay. My brother graduated from McClellan,
Really?
went back as dean of students there.
Oh,
so
you serious?
I'm kind of partial to McClellan.
I know that's
Camper
right.
family,
Well,
so.
I graduated in 1982. I'm about to tell my age on that one.
Well, we're telling our age.
I know.
So.
We continue to live in Southwest Little Rock, and I enrolled at UALR.
Okay.
Initially, I was interested some, and I was torn. I said, I also like psychiatry.
Okay.
But what ended up winning over is judicial type stuff,
Okay.
law.
Okay.
That was just who I was.
Okay. So after graduating from UALR,
I applied for law school
Okay.
at University of Arkansas at Little Rock.
Okay.
At that time, it was in the old courthouse downtown.
Right.
The law school was right across the street from the circuit court.
Right.
And we laugh about the elevator. We used to have to crank the elevator to go up to the next floor. It was one of those old school
the old elevators.
Right. And
They
now
called the dumb waiters.
Is that what?
back
Yeah,
then.
that's it. And now it's the federal courthouse,
Right,
bankruptcy court downtown.
Yeah, very familiar with it. Okay, and so after law school, pass your
I
bar.
passed the bar and I started practicing law in 1990.
Okay,
And
you've had a successful practice and
Pretty successful.
come highly recommended. I've known clients that have actually utilized you. I've had family members that utilize you. So like I said, we go way back, and I know about your history. We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break. We're here interviewing Judge Rita Bailey. We're going to get back into her election campaign. We're going to ask you to just pause for a moment as we take these commercial breaks, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jenny Love, and I'm so excited to bring you a new shopping network. That's right, a new shopping network. It's called the Arkansas Shopping Network. Do you have a product or a service that you offer that needs exposure to the public? Well, you have it right here. Yes, right here, the Arkansas Shopping Network. That's it, the Arkansas Shopping Network. Let me and my crew showcase you. Let me tell you what you're going to get with this amazing package that the Arkansas Shopping Network is going to do for you. We're going to come out. You're going to get me, yes, me, to come out, and I'll interview you, and we'll talk about your amazing product that you want to get exposure to the public. Also, you'll get TV and radio commercial ads and promos. What an amazing deal you'll get, and so much more. So let me and my crew showcase you. You can reach us at 855-525-5683. We can't wait to hear from you.
Hi, we're Diamond Dynasty from Galloway High School.
Here dancing to TKO Download.
You are now watching MyLifeNewsNetwork.com.
Bye.
Honestly, it is up to us to determine who actually has our best interests at heart. What we intend to do is to look out for our community with real issues and real thoughts. We want to be able to cover things that matter to our community. We want to be able to bring you this information without censure or without any form of restriction. We want to be the voice of our community and lead the charge for information that is disseminated throughout our masses.
Identify the problem.
I'm straight. Be the solution.
The solution I am.
MyLife and Trust Foundation.org.
The all-new MyLifeNewsNetwork.com with programming and news relevant to you. About us, for us, by us. MyLifeNewsNetwork.com.
Thank you and welcome back. Again, I'm sitting here with Judge Rita Bailey, Pulaski County District Court Judge. And Miss Bailey, I feel like I should call you Your Honor, or, you know. But anyway, the position has kind of taken a new direction. I understand that your old position is more or less being phased out, or somewhat kind of phased out. Can you tell the audience as to what actually is transpiring and how that came about?
Okay. There is some new legislation regarding the district court seats. All of the Pulaski County district court judges are now going to be what they call state district court judges.
Okay.
The new legislation that is coming into effect actually merged Camac Village and Wrightsville, which is where I'm sitting now, into Little Rock Environmental.
Okay, so that's going to fall under.
That's going to fall now under Little Rock Environmental, and Judge Leverett will have that. The same legislation, though, created this new seat that is also a county-wide seat, which that means everybody in Pulaski County will be able to vote on this.
Okay. And audience, listen. If you reside in Little Rock, the city of Little Rock, the city of North Little Rock, you are eligible to vote in this election for this position. It's a county-wide position, so you'll see Judge Bailey's name on your ballot for Pulaski County District Court Judge. So be certain and aware that you are eligible to vote for this position. It's a county-wide seat.
Thank you.
Okay.
And another thing I found out is a lot of people are those who are excited about voting in this upcoming primary, which is March the 1st.
Okay.
Early voting starts mid-February.
Okay.
And it will continue until like the weekend before the election. People stop at the legislative races and they stop at the presidential. They don't continue down.
Continue down the ballot.
The thing about the judge races is they're further down, and even on the absentee ballot, they're like in the second column, and that causes a lot of people not to vote. But I'm asking people to look for Judge Rita Bailey. Yes.
Look, do not turn your ballot in or slide it in or your mark off. Don't quit marking until you see Judge Rita Bailey. After you mark her name, then you can turn in your ballot. So,
finish it.
yes.
But that's the thing. A lot of people don't even vote in the judge races because they stop short.
Now let me ask you this for the audience's sake. Now, I understand that judges' races are nonpartisan.
You're absolutely
That means they don't declare Democrat or Republican. But will you be on the preliminary races?
I'm going to be, okay. That is called the primary on March 1st. That is my general election
That's
day.
your general election
That
day.
is correct.
Okay, so look for her on March the 1st in the primary election, but it's going to be her general election. So her office will be decided and she will be elected to this new position after you go out and vote March the 1st. And we want you to vote for Judge Rita Bailey. Go ahead.
That is like the biggest challenge, though, is getting people out to vote. You know, a lot of people will wait until the Democratic and the Republican candidates are already selected in what they think is a primary, and then they go, to the main election. But for seats like mine, this is my general election, and I just encourage everyone to exercise your right to vote. I mean, it is just, it's paramount. You have to.
Yes. And with that said, me addressing the audience, viewers understand that at MyLife Trust Network and MyLife News Network, we are trying to enhance our community, and we think that our community can be enhanced when we have the opportunity to go out and do what we're doing now. We can go and we can have hands-on and speak with individuals that looks out for our community. And we have a general base of someone that can understand issues that aid our community. So what we want to do is we want as many people as possible. And when I say our community, I'm talking about the people that look like us, live where we live, and suffer the same daily atrocities that we do. But we want somebody that can get in an office and have some mercy with the justice, right, and understand, because when you sit down in front of individuals like Judge Bailey, those that don't look like us sometimes don't quite understand what it is that happens in our communities, but they still understand that there is necessary reasons and laws that have to take place and things that they have to do in the position that they're in. But you really want somebody that can look like you and explain to you the necessary process and procedure that you're going to have to go through. And it helps when we can go in certain areas and individuals look like us or understand,
right,
where we're coming from.
And that makes me think about some of the volunteers, some of the work I do. Mm-hmm. There are times when I go into the elementary schools and I read, and there are times I've had to speak at their graduations when they're graduating, going to junior high. Mm-hmm. And what always amazes me is that the first thing, you're a judge.
Exactly.
And it's like it's funny because let me touch your hair. It's really it really does encourage me, inspires me, yes, to continue to do what I do. Now, mm-hmm, I love what I do, but I feel like people have in their mind a certain image, and yes, they plant that image in our children.
And when our children get to the age that they see like the United States Supreme Court, and they look at all of those justices, and they only see a man that looks like us, but everybody else on there is not worthy to look like us, it creates an image, and that image is etched in our minds, exactly, on a daily basis. And for a young lady or a young man to see you at their school and you're introduced as Judge Bailey, it's like, oh wow, we got judges that look like us, and then right, it inspires. It gives,
it does something to me, I'm sure. And every time I go, it like surprises them, and I think that is part of what I'm supposed to do.
Exactly.
Is to get out there in the community and show young people that I know a lot of times you are pressured, mm-hmm, to do. I talk about that too, about being yourself.
Yeah.
Being your own person. And sometimes you're pressured to look a certain way, to act a certain way, mm-hmm, but you have to be who you are.
And that's so true. And that's one of the things that I've done with my kids. I allow them certain, freedoms, but there are still some images that that may not be a good look for something that you want to go into. Right, but right, as long as you are clean, professionally looking, and decent, and I tell my children, one thing you have to do is to be able to speak the King's language. Gibberish, Ebonics, there's right, no place for it. We've got to understand. In order to be heard, we've got to be understood.
You do, so. and that's funny because in my court, I like to say I'm the first face of justice. The reason I say that is because
I like that.
Everyone who comes through the system, usually if it's a criminal related matter, they have to appear before someone like me first. Right. A lot of people will come for the first time for misdemeanors, and a lot of young people, marijuana or things like that, right, in district court. That's what they'll get. Well, my issue is there are times when you say that about parents. I've had parents show up with their child, and they want to speak for them, and I say, no, let's not do that.
Okay. Well, tell you what, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take another commercial break. We're going to ask our viewing audience if you would just give us a little time. We're going to come back, and we're going to let Judge Bailey kind of express herself, and we're going to find out what direction she is thinking that the election is going in, and we're going to do that right after these messages.
Identify the problem.
I'm straight. Be the solution.
the solution I am.
MyLife and Trust Foundation.org.
Honestly, it is up to us to determine who actually has our best interests at heart. What we intend to do is to look out for our community with real issues and real thoughts. We want to be able to cover things that matter to our community. We want to be able to bring you this information without censure or without any form of restriction. We want to be the voice of our community and lead the charge for information that is disseminated throughout our masses.
The all-new MyLifeNewsNetwork.com with programming and news relevant to you. About us, for us, by us. MyLifeNewsNetwork.com.
Hi, this is Jenny Love, and I'm so excited to bring you a new shopping network. That's right, a new shopping network. It's called the Arkansas Shopping Network. Do you have a product or a service that you offer that needs exposure to the public? Well, you have it right here. Yes, right here, the Arkansas Shopping Network. That's it, the Arkansas Shopping Network. Let me and my crew showcase you. Let me tell you what you're going to get with this amazing package that the Arkansas Shopping Network is going to do for you. We're going to come out. You're going to get me, yes, me, to come out, and I'll interview you, and we'll talk about your amazing product that you want to get exposure to the public. Also, you'll get TV and radio commercial ads and promos. What an amazing deal you'll get, and so much more. So let me and my crew showcase you. You can reach us at 855-525-5683. We can't wait to hear from you.
Hello, my name is Shay, and you're now watching My Life News Network.
Welcome back to Real Issues, Real Thoughts. I'm Garland Camper, the host, and I'm here today with Judge Rita Bailey. In our final segment, we're going to kind of wrap up things and give Judge Bailey the opportunity to tell us where she thinks the election is going and what our outlook is, and then at some point in time we want her to give us some information as to if you are interested in helping her or campaigning for her, where you can actually reach out and reach her campaign people so that you can get the word out that we can get this sister elected as a district judge for Pulaski County. And Judge Bailey, can you tell me, as far as what you can tell, and I know you've been campaigning now for several months.
Exactly.
I know you're probably restless, not getting much sleep. You're in this event and at this event. But how do you perceive that it's going thus far?
From what I see in my experience, I'm getting a very positive response. It's going in a very positive direction. I'm not going to say it's tiring, but it's worth the effort.
It's worth the effort.
I mean, I enjoy what I do. That's you have to work to be able to do that. So I'm willing to give that all I have.
Okay. Your campaign manager, who's your campaign manager?
Well, right now we have like more of a steering
committee. Okay.
I found that that's working better for me than just the one go-to.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, if it's working, that's the best. That's the best way to do it. If it works, that's great. Your previous election, obviously you won. You've served. You have the experience, the knowledge. You know the position. The only thing you need at this point is for people to get out and vote. We need to make a concerted effort that everyone that knows someone to vote, don't just go vote by yourself. Take somebody with you. Inform them that this lady is a formidable candidate. She knows the position. There's nothing like experience. And we know that in today's issues and things that we have, experience means a lot. 25 years, you know law.
Exactly.
You know law. There is no excuse for an individual to say, I don't, have knowledge of what it is that she can do. She's proven. I mean, her professional record stands for itself. And her years on the bench, you've currently served
This is my 8th year.
This is her 8th year on the bench. 8 years on the bench is almost a lifetime of practicing law.
Well, it is.
You know, I'm honored to be able to have you on the show. We've reached out to you, and with conflicts, we were finally able to do this. But we're going to try and reach as many people as we can. We want the listening audience, the viewing audience of Real Issues, Real Thoughts to take this under your wing, go out and stomp the grounds for Judge Rita Bailey. She has done everything in this community that she can, and she's not through. She still wants to reach out and be able to help people when they're in need. She has a very valued position throughout county government, and we want to see individuals like her in office. We want to see her back in office.
Well, and that's something that I find that people don't know. The district court judges do. It made me think about it. You know how young people say they're having a problem getting a job, or they've gotten convicted of marijuana is probably one of the most prominent.
Right.
And
until we do like other states and legalize it, people, you've got to curb what you're doing.
But it will keep people from getting a job. There is some I can do seal records and of those misdemeanor convictions. That comes before me as well. So parents, be mindful that that can happen. That a district court judge can do that with misdemeanor convictions.
Well, and that's good to know, because people have had hiccups in their life, and hiccups can cause an individual to stumble, and with that stumble, it may block something that they really desire to do in the future.
Correct.
And you have the opportunity to be able to say, hey, I'm going to allow you another chance. We're going to put this behind us and move forward. One other question that I have for you, as far as restoring rights of individuals that's been incarcerated so that they can be allowed to vote, would that fall under your jurisdiction?
Well, no. I'll tell you what that is. And I ever since I was young, I heard that felons, you can't vote.
Right.
The truth is, you just go to the clerk's office and fill out a paperwork. The Pulaski County Circuit Clerk's Office. And they will lead you through the process. You just have to fill out paperwork. You just need to be diligent about it, because it can happen. And that is not true.
Well, you've learned something just like I did. But this is why we need Judge Bailey back in offices, because she can disseminate information that is true, honest, and without any doubt that you can do things that you've heard about that you may not quite understand. Judge, I appreciate you. Can you give me some information? I know you've got a placard that you have, just to give us a little information about what's going on and what you've done.
This election and we've hit the ground running. Of course, we need volunteers. We need people who will pound the pavement. We do that a lot of times on Saturday mornings. You can reach my campaign at 501-291-7802. 501-291-7802. Yes, and I'm also on Facebook, and just Judge Rita Bailey. You can pull it up with Judge Rita Bailey.
We will have that information here on our show so that you'll be able to look at that information, get the word out. And is there anything you'd like to say before we conclude?
I just want to thank you for having me here, and I want to thank the citizens of Pulaski County for allowing me to serve. That's the greatest honor.
Well, with that, again, this has been Real Issues, Real Thoughts. I'm the host, Garland Camper. I want to thank Judge Bailey for coming out. The shows that we produce here with MyLife Trust Network, MyLife News Network, is geared toward enhancing our community. We feel we have an obligation to try and provide good, quality, wholesome information that helps us in our community and our daily walk with life. We do appreciate you for being with us today. And again, we hope that in the future you will still tune in and be with us as we go about helping our community grow. Again, this has been Real Issues, Real Thoughts. My name is Garland Camper, the host. We bid you good day.
The all-new MyLifeNewsNetwork.com with programming and news relevant to you, about us, for us, by us. MyLifeNewsNetwork.com.